Women are the mothers of the universe, but despite this vital role, women have remained as the most marginalized section of society. Women world over, and Uganda in particular, are experiencing several forms of human rights violations and are ignorant of the law. Women, especially the less learned, are the most affected. They have no influence over their conjugal rights, consequently are denied control over reproduction. As a result, many have been forced to divorce or even bartered. The silent suffering, especially among the women in rural countryside, is at most attributed to the charge levied in the name of bride price. They are paying the price silently in the name of binding to the norms of official marriage.
Even when there is violence and the woman understands what happened, she has no recourse. She has no option of even separation because her livelihood depends on this particular gentleman. Therefore, that being the case, we have to start looking at what are the property rights of women. How can they guarantee their survival on separations, on divorce? How can they be independent, economically independent human beings so that they have the option to defend their rights?
In Palisa, Jennifer Lupot was undergoing trauma as she lost some of her children after she was forced to breastfeed puppies by her husband, who claimed that all his cows that would provide milk for his dogs were all taken to Marof. Jennifer Lupot. The increasing violation of women's rights saw a number of Ugandan female lawyers under their umbrella, Uganda Association of Women Lawyers, FIDA Uganda, overstretched with a backlog of cases that need immediate attention. FIDA, formed in 1974, which later transformed and opened the First Leg Clinic in 1988 with the objective to help make an intervention and seek legal redress for underprivileged women who have been victims of gender-based violence and other discrimination. Presently, FIDA has an enrollment of over 300 women lawyers readily available to offer free legal support to less advantaged women in Uganda, as well as empower them to legally defeat any form of human rights abuse so they can present cases in local courts and other law enforcement agencies such as police and chief administrative officers.
We support women, vulnerable women, all women. We are out to fight for women. And we mainly work on law reforms, legal reforms. Our basic niche perhaps is the legal aid. We provide legal aid services to women who come in, women who have been battered, women who are not being maintained, women who have land disputes. We're even moving into areas of women who are doing small businesses and they need support. You know, they need to know the laws, they need to know how to register their businesses. We're also working with women in IDP camps and women in conflict-affected areas.
FIDA Uganda has intensively bridged the gap between the private and the public by enabling women secure legal redress for wrongs hitherto considered private and therefore shameful to expose in the public arena. Chomgisha, one such a courageous woman who manhandled and cut off genitals of Geoffrey Mugarura in Kashari in Mbarara in 2007 after he had defiled Chomgisha's 10-year-old daughter. Chomgisha was later arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm.
Through DFID, we were able to take up a case of a lady in Mbarara who in trying to protect her daughter who was being defiled by a man, chopped off his penis. So that is a strong case. We are trying to test the law as to what penetration means in cases of sexual violence. And we're also trying to test the laws of evidence around rape, around defilement, around sexual violations.
High impunity levels in the country poses as one of the grave hindrances of FIDA activities. In 2007, defilement law was amended specifically to provide for aggravated defilement for children less than 14 years and to widen the definition of sexual act, but these reforms only remain in the statute books. The presence of weak laws has seen defilers walk away scot-free.
We are challenged as well by the lack of a national legal aid policy. It really undermines the work we do because the state has abdicated its role of providing legal aid. All legal aid is provided by civil society, NGOs, and FIDA being the lead in providing legal aid to women. So we really think the state must come up with a national legal aid policy.
FIDA has also been instrumental in helping women, mainly the widows, who at times have lost land to relatives of their deceased husbands.
Mwami wange nafa 95. Wamala okufa 95 mu 2000 ab'ekika ne bangoba ne bajja ate namuzaalamu abaana ate ng'omwami wange yaliwala emyaka 15. Ng'emyaka 15 egyo kwegamba ab'ekika mbalabako kawunguko olunsi bajja olunsi tebajja ne nwanagana ne baze okutuusa mungulo yagaana n'amukoola. Naye bwe yamala okufa nategeerera nti ekika omwami alina ekika alina abantu bangi era mu 2000 ne bajja baali bampadde ewiiki emu nga nvudde mu bintu byabwe ne baŋŋamba balotabanga nataka ettaka lya kika eddala poloti gye yandekamu ne baŋŋamba eyo yaffe mu 2000 era baakomawo ne bantwala ne mu kooti n'omusango ne bagusinga mu kooti yaabwe gye bantwalamu era ne baŋŋamba nti ne FIDA yavaawo tekyaliwo naŋŋamba bakulimba FIDA tevangawo owulidde naye baatula mu kooti ne basala n'omusango nga gunsinze ndi waddemba okuva mu bintu byabwe n'abaana bange. Kale bannange FIDA ya mugaso yanyamba nagenda nkaabo omukazi naŋŋamba tokaaba bijja kuggwa ne mugamba nedda naye nga bw'omanya enguzi yajja ne ŋŋamba ate banaŋŋamba ate omukazi ono aba mutwalira akantu yaŋŋamba nedda ffe tetulya nguzi wabula tuyamba mmwe ababa babonaabona era tebanzijjaako wadde 10 okujjako ndowooza ze nepakiranga n'enkomawo. Kale FIDA eyamba bannange n'okutuusa kati ndi mu mikono gya FIDA.
Women have also been denied equal sharing of property accumulated in marriage by their spouses at divorce time, as they lack knowledge of their rights to share in the wealth while in marriage. As a shield to women's rights, FIDA Uganda has scaled out its operations by opening up district offices in various districts, including Mbarara, Mbale, Gulu, Pader, Kitgum, and Lira. However, the low inflow of donor support led to closure of some FIDA district offices.
Had to close its offices in Bali and Mbarara due to a financial crisis within the organization, and recognized that we could no longer give a good service to the people.
Local communities testified.
Before FIDA left, at least we had some cases being solved by FIDA, we had some cases in probation, and some cases were solved at sub-county level. But now, when FIDA left, we have seen an influx, a very big one in cases. Mostly the most common cases at this sub-county are cases of neglect, where husbands are too much into drinking and they don't buy food at home, they don't pay school fees for the children, they don't really fend for the children.
Whenever they come, we tell them to go to Iganga, but Iganga is very far. Now when you look at that geographical area of Iganga and Jinja, there are some legal aid organizations in Jinja. So Iganga and Jinja, but I don't know how many miles, it's very few. Then imagine a person traveling from Moroto, from Kapchora to Iganga. Yeah? A very, very vulnerable person who doesn't have funds, who doesn't have what, and he gets lost on the way and say that I reached there but have not got the offices. Yet here they had known it is where opposite BCU. They just come and they flock there. That Madam Abogalia knows. So We are not happy the way you people pulled out suddenly without even informing us.
They feel they are missing because of the role they are playing was enormous, and now that it is no longer there, they are feeling bad about it. And you know, whatever happens, the associated may be that government is not helping, not knowing that FIDA is coming in to supplement on government's efforts. So I feel so many people are missing the services of FIDA here now.
For sustainable implementation of FIDA activities and impact on communities, legal aid clinics were established and so far settled over 1,500 civil cases. This was further supplemented by training paralegals, and awareness to women's rights was raised through creative use of music, dance, and local drama depicting real-life experiences of the community. Paralegals serve as the foot soldiers and first legal aid contact persons within the communities, thus increasing more amicable resolution of conflicts, especially at the family level, while lessening expenditure for the poor in terms of transport and legal fees. Paralegals ensured that local council courts' backlog is reduced and justice delivered on time, given that police training mainly focus on criminal justice but not civil law.
Lawyer, here I am. Yes, you depend on me, so without me, we don't need. You see, education is the key to everything.
FIDA Uganda is also undertaking extensive community awareness in Kamuli, Mbale, and Mbarara districts. This sensitization of the grassroots enables communities to effectively demand legal redress for the violation of their rights, the discourse of democracy, and good governance. In its first inception, cases brought to FIDA mainly concerned children, but currently the lawyers are faced with more complex about women's property rights.
Most of the time, I think laws are violated because people do not even think it's a violation of the law. People do not even appreciate that there's a connection between rights and their culture, that it's not a foreign concept. It's the whole concept of Ubuntu and community responsibility have to be understood as part and parcel of the human rights ethos, and we're not necessarily enforcing something that is alien or Western elite women, but we're interested in enhancing, like our mission, the human rights and inherent dignity of women and children using law as a tool of social justice.
There is confidence among the members of FIDA that with its commitment to providing justice to those without access will one time live free and with a breath of justice at their face.
There's a lot of promise for FIDA. FIDA, this strong woman FIDA, is so determined to survive. So we have come through a very strenuous transition phase over the last few years, 2 years or so. And now we are ready, we are charged. We have a strong team on board. We have a strong management and strong staff team. We have the best. So we are ready to move forward. And moving forward, we are determined to work smarter.